Kusi chambers we dum emontene so se wo mu kwa kosra ne san se free se ma Akosua se wa ba Ghana yi na nija enhye no lawyer so a wetu ana mo akosra no lawyer na okoni pa dom pa a etwehye kumase montene so a wo mo gina baba ba ye na wa tu na nya asem ketwa ene wo se ye ma me ye dendu se nya asem na okopa hwe ne dress no de atoso ene eye ni shirt bia o de abonani atum say yes ampa ojina na so pa.
It sounded impossible for a court to recall the parties involved. Lawyers among na mizeni asem no fofo. Mekwana minini nshia yakasa ofunso into beto say adofo ba so say Ghana fosi don. It tells you that Ghanaians disagree with the decision of the court. That is even a lighter side of it. Because when himself, Akosua Serwaa's arrival in Ghana was uncertain. And look, the level of
judge who say judge na dwen ye say enyo original mokwa ne baby.
Me ayebo apaye.
Oheneba Media for na efremu. Ayebo me say media royals. Media mu adehye no asebo ana Semana, Amamlani Amani Mudumedie, Oheneba Media Betinete, Intiama for Muntie, and Yado.
Hey, Abusia, Yamamuna Quaba, Edabo Oheneba Media so. Majidi say Mohoye, 724, a trot to no Cato say, Obo 4, and a dead and I'm person I am pa. Sabre de Mamia Akosua Serwaa, Waduna trendy, and they were trending now. A year. Social media, traditional media, print media, and baby no ono na woko na busia ne lawyer a okogina mu ema no wo court wabra ode na asem kodan court se court nka bi mane san se that lumbati ase o ye ne ho ade wo nkrata so gitu mu omra mu enti nka be a court no declare ne so no nko a na ye yire no nkuto so enitimi di kuna ma ne ye ema ye nyina ye hu de kosi ye no lawyer William Kusi Esquire da Dominion Chambers ano waba bekasa na abusia ensem ne de pora kese pa emu ode yeba abebodi nyina mu enchiremu e de akyeremu na mo suma hu dia ekobi ne dia ebebi na abusia yeni kan fa sedama tap send adabo frufin Remy Spices Kim Bernard Printing Press ene efi bi te se ofanwe nsusu no wo mo ebo ye chidom ne adontere sa zempanifo se etu ejinafo a na eto na de onim to so na ne nyina akyerempon eso na se wuti esu tesutu esu ani a na agwakawa wabefa isansa kwanso sem ya na emu ode nti yeda wo mase se da ne da nyina wo mdom sika o maho ode no munim de epia yen na abusia enya sem ketwa lawyer William Kusi oda Dominion Chambers ano abeka sapa ene ensem ode abetu dwanya ensem ketwa wabra oni Ali Baba Dankawuso edin komo ewo Angel FM so ewo Kumase na ocheche nsemu na de kan lawyer Kusi ebechire mu de ntia maame Akosua so ene client ni kuna yi a ekoso ewo December boso meda na to so dumiensa ene ne dunan no wantimi amabi anase wa amase na wa ama me yikuna amfa nyam ni kunu dofo Charles Kwadwofo so dad lumba na eno na lawyer Kusi kire se maame de nkonya yanko beba pa na opese wo ba na so hwe bre a wo mu de yi ne hye ne niema ne wo ho a na kyese ama bibia bobo so amane na sabre nipo no na wo san ni abusunya pani kofi usu gina court mo twema nso den na etwa se emrane ade ho no odi so pepepe na lawyer Kusi kura kire mu se ono na maame no ne client enti afutuo de na nkobetumi atunifo pa se wo mra bi nanso emramu asem ene de ho injunction ene niema abaye no a na kyese maame no ebre eni na afa enunti ene wantimi amani kunu dofo Charles Kwadwofo so no so hwemu ayi kura mo ye no sebi ayi no enchenkran enye nika senka maame Akosua Serwaa ena yie lumba yi a kibi hu edompa ebegitwi ene kyeda akwa yi na se na esanse no nya yi na se bi ntu no ene hu se yi no sebi ayetro kasa no lawyer William Kusi asemokan ni
no sir you share circumstances now the year she couldn't have come because a day before the year there was an application before the court na abusuafo no seeking to restrain the court from moving ahead the head of family from moving ahead to perform the funeral and she had that information and we knew that circumstances the facts before the court the baby a court may grant him because at the time no na abusuafo application akọ police headquarters say omo person who they say buy ama lumba free mu, which was a criminal matter. And the police actually can complain no more young juma. I was surprised. I was not surprised when initially it came to court not grant application. No? Because we have already a couldn't obedience about the investigations. So I was more surprised when we had the judge in Asanfre, the lawyers involved, some of them and yes, of no proof.
Now, lawyer, I want to own him. Now, me pay merebia. Emranim ni bi te say mumu bi. Ebeka court asem na ya yen sem fatam ya bisa. Because me gina fidie so ye adwuma. Matiefo etie me bedi madanse say. Ye di nkomo no an ehunu say abusua no say omo empene so nti say ni na court nye. E na court bua ye say di abusua ne kan modu. Ni say nti won ma mutumi. Eti ye de yesese ye niam afira fidie so akono ye beti ne say court say. Emma okra ye frɛ ma ekoba sɛ ɛwɔ sɛ court sɛ si enkonya foforo na emum enya court dem mo sɛ de o kan asɛm foforo no e ba to minim kwa mfa sa mudi mu nsɛm na ɛhen fa mudi asɛm a edimu na yin na mo tra enimu.
It was a strange occurrence. Adia yenye court chini sɛ court ma order bisa so a fontus official which is his official capacity to pronounce on the matter and has been taken away from him. So this will be the application number or an appeal. It sounded impossible for a court to recall the parties involved, lawyers, where is his jurisdiction? The other phrase will be for application, but to lawyer near the application. How did they send the application? It was, and to me, it was one of the darkest days in our legal life. Say, court beat my answer, but whatever it is, now, send your tiano. The time was so short for anybody to file an application. Say, the court near Nyamra because I tell you no Kusi, and do file here. Before I was filing na adiachi. Near several. There been several process. And until now, see if it taken good faith near ma and near my cost so send a bear mistake go maybe to my correcting later. And that is what happened. A strange occurrence. Where the say judge's opinion, the procedure was wrong. So we have situation where the judge opines like they see Kumasi during the argument, no. Correct. See, you can go on appeal and challenge his decision. But where the it's unheard of. But it happened though, and I'm happy that it has gone in the records. Say ABC or Ghana. How many days you had the law school?
Pepi ni yakasa o kan wasem no kakra wi now the education tato minim ase sabi de oti ho a odi asem no ba no oye emranim ni a wasua de se de wasua de no na de ne sabi with all due respect or the common sense be kan ho eti wo common sense na de kan ho na ene ne de na anye pa nka be ha
emranim common sense. What do I say? Yeah, very common sense in Muyamra. Yes, and Kekakofa. Between me white. Our money experience will be as some common sense. Then go ma apply. Where you work law school, you have to tell a kind of district court, not about circuit, and not about high court. All these things is to train your mind to make legal decisions. And do the common sense could be as a more high court. I said, what?
As I'm not
Emra. You may not like it, but that is the law. You have to apply it as it is. And that is why we are challenging the decision.
Right, Abusia. Enwechi ena yebusa lawyer William Kusi say, wasi wa kwa ya appeal. Na appeal na kwa ni munsem etesen. Ena lawyer William Kusi chire mu say, the clients mami Akosua say wada asem medan say lawyer, mesrew. asɛm abusua pani enemy di asɛm a odobroni ni midi asɛm a transitions funeral home enemy di no many nye ho mesero mini kama fo nti di manim na ka bi ma me na eno ne asɛm a omde kokodan court sɛ court nka bi ma wo mo na ohwemu a enkrata ne adanse omde koyi na nka yade ye solid page na ne naso a ɛwɔ sɛ nkatemuafo no ɛde n'ani hwem na wɔde atentere ne ɛne ade ba nanso ankoba ne sa enu ti ɛno so obesan ya piu na piu nipa a wɔyɛ na adwene so koye no enipa bi a threaten no enya asɛm kitwa wɔsi obeda sɔre ne na threat pa the text messages the calls ne ade de ba ne yere so ne de bi so mfa ne yere so kura sɛ enkebe ya efie mpo ne yere ne hwɛ sɛ ɔne ne kunu be kontokwa na piu no onya time nkoye enya sa so onya ne kunu ne ade nyina no enya asɛm kitwa le ye kusi se sɛ na wonim sɛ maame Akosua Serwaa ɛho dɔ ɛne ne ho dɔm yi enipa bi ebetimi o mahyi amom de ho threat kra no abro no lawyer William Kusi say despite the threat na ekoso nyina no ɔno wesi nkete awiata so sɛ die tie bia no obeya piu no e de ama maame Akosua Serwaa na baabi a ɛwɔ sɛ ɛda no ye de ato sanse mpanifo say sɛ wan fa nto baabi ɛda ɛya na efrito lawyer William Kusi ekyire mu sei
na o client apart from holidays or buy no owo adwenfoforo bi fa okunu wo ne ho ne anamon bi a wosere wo ma odi na ma ne 2 year wo court no ho ana
onya adwenfoforo bi oba fie besra abusua mekura na me ne nhia ya kasa ofon so nto obedo nsa betum nsayem adofo ba so se na Ghana fosi don. It tells you that Ghanaians disagree with the decision of the court. Ghanaians disagree with the decision of the court.
Nipa ne question airport one na ma dwena yam kesene na na.
Of course. No, don't bring me back and talk about that.
Nipa wo omko hia maami wo airport one. Ene wo mo ba yi no wa quantify ahwe.
I'm a quantify.
There in a dozen.
The funeral, let me tell you about the relative term of the numbers. In fact, numbers no, but that is even a lighter side of it, because with himself, Akosua Serwaa's arrival in Ghana was uncertain, and they took just a few hours to organize those people we saw at the airport. And the advertising and a year to the advertising, big boss, a big crowd, and so nipa ama omo free districts in na so mbehwe bi what I say you could see how light the attendees were so and o compare every fan says Akosua Serwaa na adi so be year and ka ji say ekohan kuma so ba ko be ka ho ansa na aso yenkum
la social media they say they ono ye da paso kro so o hewachi cause social media na manipa ye fie nyina just security bia e porous
no kra na me ayi no sura abofo no anya roja de ni me so mo sura abofo no obo me ho ba kese pa anti amayo ahotoso sanya me doye unim se ali baba me file api no there were threats. My wife was even threatened. Pressure, domestic pressure, na minya happy. Because that pressure, if it is obvious that we had a bad case, why will anybody threaten anybody? We are standing for justice and we will get it. I'm so confident.
Lawyer.
Na abusia, eno, ena lawyer Kusi, mufanchemi. Lawyer William Kusi abomu enchiremu no Kusi no minu apenidi ni Kusi no si ana Kusi ni Kusi ana etai etoto frafra na obi esa no na yebusa no say lawyer na enkrata mu de call court yi si ese enkrata no kra na enye genuine enye se bia obi na adi atiamu ba mo am enkrata ne adanse am de kopie mu ye high court yi temwa for enkrata mu de ba ye ogitum enye yi esanse de na osinke authenticating na ya authenticate anfa process nim na kwa ese aduane a wano a emene no eti sa de so boko botemu afo a na o kan se na lawyer Kusi Ali Baba dan ka usu tie ma se mi bie enkrata ye de ko ye nyina ye enkrata German ya banje tuma che say genuine original nkrata maami Akosua Serwaa na kasa na de nyina share envelope mu e ship free Germany e de bre yon Ghana say me lawyer me fan ko sinti wo hwɛ me lawyer ni a maye adwuma say lawyer ni a che say me the fake nkrata be kokko tete mu afo hwema na da bi na mum o say wo justice during that smitata sebe no aboni tirimu po say de tie bia no asem no onima maami Akosua Serwaa o say maame no onimu pa say no kwere ne say maami Akosua Serwaa ni awade no nanso oheda boapa ena odi nipa bonesem sebi mo fa ncheme asema lo yakusi kan na me kan no nipa bonesem ena tirimoden eye ya ena obu aten no ma atenchi abaye eti nko no no de oni problem at essence enkrata ni client ba yin na enkrata omnya da de hwe mu ehu se bibia da na kwam ene the free ayi consulate ba yaje the free embassy ba yaje the free ayi marriage registry ba yaje ni nyina ye e de ayi pen asensan so kama ya lebu ebia e de ni nyina ba se exhibits any evidences ni proof e de ni nyina ba court atemu afo se debi menti ase no se justice during that smitata atemu de ba ye pa dia da braka na ye ni nwanwa papa o se we ya nadwuma na sem se adansi a wo ma hye da tena se anu amana bene adansi a yede ho spices egum a chese obia de ne sa adansi mu kana no se ampa de no just the reader smitata so no de ohunu sa adansi no so esebi ni mudie wo o se wo chese odwene ho a wonti ase enu nti ma fa bele mu ne ma maami Akosua Serwaa na se evangelist papa shi ana so no lo yakusi esan se de nipa be ya eno mo ye no na de hia ne fata ne se no so so o mo ye ni nyina na emum te muafo no so na adwene enu nti ena we mu aten no afom mo sei ena lo yakusi e kan nsem bisifae
I mean kan some tro in court we usually send the copied ones and the dear dance and we got her to send us a certificate and yeah copies in the court we now say judges okay or the 2 million or so be originals ya ka cha Akosua Serwaa envelope or the mail by na cry yeah the court so originals nini and we were all surprised when the judge says office they are going baby na and your original now and look the level of
judge no who say judge na dwen ye ne say enyo original mo koye ne baby
me ayabo apaye ontime nyu say now the document who no doubt is you could see it's not from Ghana
because
your family book
apart from your caliber na we be present here dey bia judge bi be ka say enye no obi akofa free baby na say e wo say ebisa ho asem yi pa then pa na be be ntia e ma na adwene be ne say mo koye free baby na enye original
adwene boni
Angel. It is a number.
I mean, you know that I no. Opinion me integrity kura.
Okay.
To suggest that me no go for fake documents about court. What for? What am I going to gain from it? I nobody. Because I know sincerely that the parties, the lawyers on the other side knew it was genuine. The judge herself knew it.
Money free if I don't know.
Now, what's your judgment? Judge, initial stages of the judgment say evidence will say or ordinance marriage certificate from Germany. They are only second one, and until the document cannot be original. Otherwise, it wouldn't sit with her decision. And I don't think they make answer. I say,
Clay.
Exactly. If she has to decide against us, then she has to say that the certificate was fake. Otherwise, there was no window for her to decide that both of them were wives. And on a lighter side, she has always sought to explain that she met them in the middle and then promoted peace. You get the point? And in the attempt to promote peace, she has to say our certificate was fake. My certificate, I can tell on authority, it wasn't fake. It was original certificate from Germany. So Netiano.
Right, Abusia, it's no, ena yellow yakusia chirichiri muno. Na enyasem ketwa, when some more kind of do baby na no worship. And Abusia say na appeal kura appeal. You say, Bema ya moku ne sunto kwe yesie no. Enti dienti na mokoya appeal. And we say David appeal won here. was a dance and a bab on tenant or crenaba, no be able to sampa. Mammy Akosua Serwaa. O winyina so nim de woka san se abra odobro nim lawyers ne ade no kra na ba court na ebusa dansefo ne se wa abra wo odobro ni lumba be se o pe so be wade wa o si wo be ye traditional marriage home marriage no lo ekusi so bisa client ne se enti lumba anka kire mo se owo yire wo jebe no so lumba ka kire yen so wo yire wa ware wo Germany e won krata so e no sinti wa mfa marriage certificate an kire mo se o da bi no lo ekusi se ne lumba dada mo o si we nyina kwa ya dance ensem mo kan enka na o se tenwafo ne se de obie na adwene mu na obie na sum na otie ba ne nyina no o hyede bu na ni gu so ebotuguye sanse na ono wa na adwene dada se obedi asem na de afa ba bi e odifa ye no sanse o hwe hawa eye enkrofo kan wa bontene ne ade a na chese ene nwanwa se tenwafo ne timi yesa o si we kra ye ba ma me Akosua se wa ba Ghana no kire sampa Ghana fo abedo ma me no Ghana fo nyina hunu se Atemwa Justice Dorinda Smithata, her leadership, Edibaye no, sebi na ya chenchi according to lawyer Kusi. Wasi nya temwa Ghana for njido na sum. Esan se enke yadea efa ni kwen bebi o se fa enkubi a ebegba jiso aye o se ye. Na so bebi ekofa ye nti no Ghana for dodo na ba mu biempo se enya de se omu kra no omu nya asem a omu be kokko ti san se ye call system no sebe eye question mark e wo ho. Na lawyer Kusi e ho no susu no o kire mu sei.
Adawruma adwuma ekura wi abushia asie dalumba mamre kwa so awie apie no ho behia obi na kwa be so
in fact o hwe nkrata me de call court anya frunti na me de call court me seeking for injunction because we saw a rush to bury the body when we were talking about who is a wife and who can perform these were the two things that the court had to address as far as we are concerned. If you can really phone Abusuafo na chiri omo file process efunu no they want to do a postmortem and that the Abusuafo is not even the rightful person to conduct the funeral. I know Abusuafo they had their lawyer. Maybe the status of Akosua Serwaa as a wife is what I was prosecuting, and it is as relevant today as it was when the action was taken because I've said this. Said the disease is cancerous. So because the cancerous. I tell you, low my bet spread just say alone, you know. It is very bad for a court to look at the certificate of a country like Germany and say that couldn't say in diplomatic circle, that country can also say they won't accept any certificate from Ghana because of that decision. And I will be irresponsible. I sit down for that to happen. And what I can do is to prosecute an appeal, which will probably look at it differently and say that, oh, it was an original certificate. Because German certificate, the idea, one social media, people were posting this. There were no signatures of the parties on the certificate. And it will conclude that because the Akosua Serwaa about the certificate signature, no, the almost sign. Everything we said was true, except that they had to refuse it in order that they can create peace in court. But it is tried knowledge to be worried under German, won't be worried second wife. I don't know. I ABC. So to succeed in doing that, they have to say we couldn't lead evidence to show so worried Germany. But Mama can't so one the represent here. Your Dobroni court no. In his evidence was see Lumba catch him so worry or Germany. Nadana mo worry no. Ye bisa no see now I didn't break it down beyond record. One kasi were good no. I break the records are there for people missing conformity proceedings, especially almost criticizing you know. They should look at the proceedings and know exactly what happened. They admitted Lumba had told them on 2 occasions that he was married in Germany. And then Bizarre said, did you look at the certificate of divorce? They didn't. And I'm saying, oh, I'm 419. That's the trend of the cross-examination. That if you knew somebody was married under German law, that's about you have to ask for a decree of divorce. Otherwise, it could happen that the marriage was subsistent. You get the point. So, to me, there was evidence overwhelming. Abusuapeni says that he wasn't there when they were married, he wasn't there when they were divorcing. To them who has MDR. Although Bruni witnesses there, Lumba catch up say, our dinner a good one customer could teach them. And so there was even evidence apart from the issue of certification and all. I say Mranama Kwanso Jitum, even though there was no certification. Until we are confident. And yes, Lumbanani embassy basi. And I yenye bibia mfro dobro ni ho.
Right abusia enti eno na lawyer Kusi edetu January nyina ye bra eye maami Akosua Serwaa enedai oni evangelist Papa Shi ena afi nso eye maami George Poku obesi na namu as eye principal witness wa bra court assembly koso ene emam pedifobia kan ho no eto eye anamon ekọ lawyer Kusi ni chambers ewe dum emontene so se wo mu kwa kosra ndi san se free se maami Akosua Serwaa ba Ghana na nija enhye no lawyer so a wetu anamon akosra no lawyer na okọ nipa dom pa ayetwehie kumase montene so a wo mo gina baba ye na wewe tuna nyasem ketwa ene wo se ye maami ye dendu maami ye dendu akwa abo maami Akosua Serwaa chese nyasem ne okopa hwe ne dress no dia to so ene eye ni shirt bia o dia bonani atum say yes ampa ogina na so pa maami ne color eda so fefefefe eti lawyer Kusi abekire mu say ne client ne de eye apiwo ne de no onya akire de osan kato so bi okra ne say lumba yie no wo mo dwene ho wo mo adwene ho sebrebam na ne client ne preso na se tutu ye nyina wie pay a ahwe yie no be foforo esan se yie di kan a abusuapeni eye Kofi Owusubu ahen Victor Yera eye ema Charles Kojofusu no according to lawyer Kusi ne se eye ni nso ani enye yia edimu enya de se wono no obeka se ye yia se be eye efe esan se ohwe ensem a Ghana fododo na e kan se lumba yie a eye pa na ya nya legendary musician bia wase eye pa na ya chese Ghana for na nkwose omom kwa yie ni kra ne ye womom teteti ben stadium ha makumofo na omu hu bi da no behwe bie ene womom be pa asem akoka na ne be gu ayie na se aside that no chese woni anka yie ni form na nkase no mu bia ama etulo ya kusese eye no kwa no mo san ahwe adwene ho bio definitely ebia ombesan ahwe na omaye no foforo enti abusua weni nsem a sese media ekoso na etwa ne ho ewo ye social media so agene ho akwapa ne nsire ni lawyer Kusi ekasa obekasa ye no eno ene machichemu makoma kuza twere kunkrum nsem efiri ye Genesis edikosi eye adisem revelations ena mede ababeda na abusua maame Akosua Serwaa san abo anan akwa kopie mu ewo pakoso ahemfie na ye nyina nim se Charles Kojofusu dadlumba oye de shikan de shikronkran oda ekọ na de shibusu e wo pakoso mu a omunchi bi ni ensuta ene ade na okọ ye senka okọ na akosra eye na abo achi ansa ono eye pakoso hene na okọ ye no na naiti na echi kakran so eye dadlumba na busuafo ene abusuani mu panifo dodo na no mo pakoso ahemfie emom abusuaperi Kofi Owusubu ahen to park de na oni hobi ihu obi se offer ya opoku ho mama China eye dadlumba na abirwa na abusuani mu nipa hodo na dodo na omo wo eye pakoso ahemfie a omo eje maame Akosua Serwaa awobotu achiame afiri yie ene ko achiame abola course brew na chese na no kati visa nsem a na chese o ma kwa aba ne ade ede akire eye maame Akosua Serwaa no amane a wo so de wo de dan no ode abo eye na na akire nkonwa ewo pakoso ahemfie na chese eno so ade o nti sabre de maame no ba oba nyina ne se wo ba bedi holidays esan se abruchira djuma no wutimi gina na so ya djuma na ya mo na kakra se kokko home enti akwanya onyan no de aba eye Ghana se o free se oba ni kunu na otweda san akoye no ontimi ma bio enu ti na so oba na ode eye na ase soronko ebre woni a ebo ni chidom ni adontene woni a eka aya rechiche nsem ede kire no woni a chiche ni wire she ni nkunan wabra na nani etutu ato ne nsem no na wo so oba no beda wo mase na bio nso ode nani behwe de ekoso afei appeal a wo koye no ehon krata asem bebi wo so no ade ni signature she nenum asem wo se etworo ni ade nyina no obe ni nyina de gu nkrata so no de agya ne lawyer na wasan tia na acha ko Germany na lawyer gina na namu ayi appeal no de ama no wo mu hwe nim se trade and pomba se yadom tete kwafra moa yadom no to ni hira bosu egusu a appeal no mbeye no bibia ebetimi awie peye na etimi akokan ti sabre de maame Akosua Serwaa to a oba Ghana no ofin crime aba bedru Kumase wakochia ne lawyer wakochia ya santiman koso hene na afi so wako Akosua himfie akochia nananom ayehwe nim se nya ne tie se ebia obekomenhia na wakwakochia yewra sakonya ne bemu a enti ho nsoso no ye de ani bedi akire na bibia aye kama kuma abusua aharam de nsem no amo nka se ene dai mampon hene a oti apatamu asabe de weswai eri akire mampoman ene mampoman so akire ne obeswai akire yewra enti de hoso nsem no mesan de aba na me de aba bedan mo medin ede nkofo da se benfa serama tap sense kama ne de ayefo ayede ayemre ayehwam tap sense na da romanti unya download ya no akọ Play Store na se App Store no akọ twen promo code ni Oheneba OHENEB ubenya bonus ni bi account say $10 €10 £10 wenya bi account sika no na yebotwo o se nso a ultimate stand chance obe win 100% cashback we ope dien tap sense pe ne betimi e de amount adabo fruit fi kan sure say enchanse papa so nyina na adabo fruit for enchanse no dance bo hu ha nyina bra be dan de san say o mo na abena kwadare o dance bo mu se dan we say relent na person bi susu bo so a ombe ne sa de amount from numbers na go screen so na mpinfo ni nkomo e bia na promo chira kwan a osue ni bi won kran pokwase ne potem Kumase ehwan ne potem na afiso fensi ene ne potem adabo fruit e wo ho no mo na doa nyina no omutwa bi Kimera printing press o ma printing aye kama nei opese we branding bia na chese simple it's say Kimera simi kan say posters flyers billboards ene chese soundboards ene de keka hu bia no mye nyina enti fa beda wo no printing ma na bia enye kama na so ye no Kumase asafo woni 2M Express bus station no na ebo ho enti ofre numbers na go screen so mpeni beje so e bia na pe printing machine akese ne kitwa ne bia to a Kimera printing press e will be on beton e de ama na bia aye kama ne ko ne sanso na e ko twitwa mpeni fo nsa ne bi ye efie bites eno a eno bia e de checking how far sports pubs restaurants ahodo munyina no monkoje efie bites emfamra mi go ho na nkofo mra emenom bi woni hwehwe ne du nwatwa adama wonka ho eye oba penfo nka do makoda do fo so nka we ye de nubra hamanua hini ene eye enuanko munya keka bom ye de ano a efie bites ntino kakra so tekre ma so etimi odidi oba ma so etimi osipi esita na bibia etimi aye kama Remy Spices eno a ena ye de be aduane na no usu ba be su kire be se da sebre me ye nkwanya na nkwanya ti nsuo yurubi emunya dahwe ni na so usu kokwaji Remy Spices na fa be ye nkwanya na bia anya kama okwaji ye no ene ohyiame a osu chema me bomba ba so se da sebre unim kitchen mu ensem eti wo so kwaji be fa be aduane mabusuan na bia anya kama Remy Spices there eno a won se be bold ni ma sede ahyema funu ma san se mi free hayi mi kudi aduane am di Remy Spices aye enti wo so kwaji bi ana se frɛ numbers na ne penifo ni nkomo ne kotu bi ebeto se wo di dwumadie bi na pese ye bohu de room ana se wo ade bi a wo ye ana wo ton na pese Oheneba Media ye bohu de room ankofo ebeto bia ene no wa frɛ numbers ne go screen na ne penifo edin sa so ne ho hyehye no mo ne waye ne atena ha ne ya bohu de room na bibia asumi aye kama ma mfa se akwanya we so na mfa ntia kesi di mu drupa enkoma Agnes echra de ewo Achimwe Nchi Senior High School o cheche ni twi Madam Agnes me chia pa na menka ho na omawa hoden ene bibia so ntimi enye kama information na me chia Benedicta yeboa wo KNUST na menka ho makra mu nyina
Oheneba Agyeini Makonie the CEO of Oheneba Media menuanom Ghana fo a mo Europe UK, Canada, and America. Ene me wa sempa bi de ma wo. Se wo pese wo send ska ema wabusuafo ene wadofo Ghana ene na tap send ya na me kanfo ama. Na de ma maniji wo mo kra ne se omu rate wo soro no charges afi wo sa bo sika ho ban ma wo. Say mobile money accounts ana bank account ana wo send ska na kotomu a sima krope na wansa kan o Ghana de wuya ne se obefa o mobile phone no akọ Play Store ana App Store no download tap send app no egu phone so kayo se wo send dia obebusa o promo code eno ane se wo de Oheneba keke no ahye ho wo Europe a obema €5 wo UK obema £5 wo America ne Canada so a ubenya $10 Oheneba keke nti tap send papa no
Oheneba Media for Efremu ayebo me say media royals media mu adehye no asebo ana entasemana amamla ni amane mu dwumadie Oheneba Media betenete enti amanfo mu ntie ye na nyado